Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of NasCard Radio. This is episode 142 of NasCard Radio, where trading cards and racing meet. I'm your pal Val. With me is the man, the myth, the legend, PSA and White Castle Hall of Famer, Logan. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Logan. How are you doing?
I'm feeling too tough to tame.
Good, good. Hey, Bella. I see Bella back there.
Yep, she just came upstairs.
She heard me calling.
She
Okay.
sure did.
Let's see some housekeeping here. Oh no, well, let's see what we're going to talk about today. I'm all ready to get into our sponsors and everything else, but everybody wants to know what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do a racing recap. We're going to talk about NASCAR 75 greatest drivers. They've announced the total list, so actually we're recording Thursday, um, and then Panini Flawless is it coming in NASCAR, and then we'll finish up the show with King's Court, and then all the other little stuff that Logan wants will sprinkle in there. So
Yeah, we've got some odds and ends and stuff going on. We're good.
yeah. All right. Now, thanks to our sponsor, Panini America. Appreciate that. Also, shout outs to Tim Mozzie, Skid Marks, Kyle Katz, Anthony Havens, Cade Hesterman, and Us to Be Fast.
I think maybe like used to be fast.
All right, let's go to that. Used to Be Fast for the YouTube comments. We appreciate that very much. Some great conversation in the comments there. And of course, we read them, so please leave them. And so we had a little giveaway last week, another sneaky giveaway for 5 yellow 2022 Donruss yellow optic pulsar packs. And Casey McMullen is our winner. So I'll reach out and get your information so I can send those. So
Congrats to Casey. That's cool,
yes.
man. I think he's collecting the set. So
Well, that's good. It's a really cool set. I think it's one of those kind of sneaky sets that in time, will be pretty cool to have as a kind of an error set. So
mm-hmm.
now if we can just get Beckett and everybody to acknowledge him on like price guide and stuff, then they're legit. Then we can, they can be collected on the PSA set registry and graded.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can.
All right, let's move on. Racing recap here. Let's see. Last week, the Craftsman Truck Series race number 8. That was the Heart of America 200, Saturday, May 6th at Kansas Speedway. And Grant Enfinger was our winner. Highest finishing rookie was Nick Sanchez. He led a lot of laps there.
Yeah, he did.
And Kortheim was second. So that was pretty cool to see him up there.
Yeah, it was good to see Corey Heim. I still think he's going to do great things in NASCAR.
Yep. And then we had the battle of Natalie Decky here, right? Haley Deegan and Tony Brittany Dinger. Thank you. I don't know where my head is at, man.
Yeah, come on, snap to it.
All right.
I'm going to have to slap you.
So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, Haley Deegan finished 12th. Corey, good Lord. Haley Deegan finished 12th. Tony Breidinger. See, you got me messed up now. Tony Breidinger finished 15th. So I was wrong. I thought Tony Breidinger was going to finish ahead of Haley, but I still think it lit a fire under Haley because she finished 12th, which is better than she's been doing. So she probably didn't want to get beat by the competition, so to speak. But Tony Breidinger, she was, with her finishing 15th, she's the highest finishing female in the Truck Series history. So there you go.
I was going to kind of agree with you that maybe this is what Haley needs, this kind of competition between the two of them to kind of prod her, because we don't know what's going on in everybody's life. We just think that all they do is race, whatever. But they have a other life outside during the week. So motivation and everything else, trying to stay motivated. So
Yeah, but your core focus should be your job at hand, which for them is driving the trucks. Well, not necessarily Tony, but definitely Haley.
it should be, but then again, how hard are you pushing yourself? And you have these other dealing with sponsors and other business opportunities. Not to go off on Danica Patrick, but Danica Patrick, she used racing to get to the next level, which was going to be business or her own business or some other stuff. It wasn't going to be racing, right? So
Mhm.
I'm trying to paint it in that kind of picture. So racing is a stepping stone in the money made to do some other create other business or whatever. Not saying she is, but I'm just using that as an example for people's motivations, though.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. Grant Enfinger. Let's see. Got a good Grant Enfinger?
We've had dinner with him.
Yes, we have. That was like the week before he won Daytona.
Yep,
I think that was right before the pandemic too.
it was.
So his rookie is 2018. He's in the 2018 Donruss Phenoms. That's the cards on the right. 3 versions of that with the kind of the base cracked ice to 9.99 and explosion to 99. So no 101s or any of that kind of stuff. 2018 Panini certified. This one to the right with the different with the base card there with all the different colors, the orange, red, blue, gold, and then there's also mirror versions as well. No signatures in Dunruss or certified. So you have to go over to Panini 2018 Prism, and he's got 2 signatures actually in there, but no base cards in Prism. So there's the driver signatures and the scripted signatures.
Yeah, I've often wondered how Panini makes those decisions on having autographs but no base cards. Weird. I wish we may have to ask that question at the national.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our on that. And also, there are some versions where he signed the back.
We've got some of those.
Yes, we do. So as you can see, Panini Prism came out later that year. So he had gotten, or I guess that was the first time he had gotten cards to sign. He signed the back first, and then they realized it, and then went back and signed the fronts too. So you get 2 autographs with that one.
Hmm.
So when you're out looking and you see Grand and Figure signatures there in 2018, you flip those over, you might have a bonus autograph.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We found those at the national last year.
Yeah, I can't remember if they were $1 or $3 or what, $2 or
I think they
whatever
were
it was.
$3.
Yeah. All right. Highest finish rookie, Nick Sanchez.
We're gonna give him the middle nickname of Scribble Scribble.
Scribble, scribble.
Scribble Scribble with his autograph.
I had the file open and it closed on me. Dang computers. All right. 2022 Dunruss. He has a base card there. He's a rated rookie there. That's to the left on the bottom with all the parallels. There's a signature series that signs only a few parallels to that. There's Chronicles, and then he's got a lot of Chronicles with clear vision, clearly Donruss, Contenders Optic, Obsidian, Spectra, Stars and Stripes, Zenith, and then Panini Prism card number 38 in 2022 with all of the parallels in Prism as well as sensational signatures. Lots of parallels there. And then he's also in the 2022 National Treasures that just came out a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not as bad as Scott Speed, but he's got the scribble there. So
Yeah, him and Ty freaking Gibbs are tied for Scribble Scribble, I think.
yep. moving over, our next race is going to be race number 9. Buckle Up, South Carolina 200 at Darlington Raceway tomorrow or today or a few days ago, depending on when you listen to this. But Friday, May 12th, Friday night, May 12th, 7 p.m. You like that?
Yeah, I like that. That's good. You're
Thank
covering
you.
all the bases. That's good.
Yeah. Xfinity Series, they were off, but they're going to get those cars ready for race number 11 at the Shriners Children's 200 at Darlington Raceway, Saturday, May 13th at 1:30 p.m. If you are going to Darlington or you're in Darlington, there's a lot of fan events, autograph sessions because of NASCAR 75 Greatest Drivers. So
Yes, lots of autograph signings. You'll probably see a lot of legends there just walking around. You'll probably go to a restaurant there and probably see some folks.
I don't know if it was today, maybe not that it matters for everybody else, but that Mario Andretti was there with, I don't know if it was Nick Sanchez or somebody who's driving that truck with that paint scheme, that blue with the 2 or something.
Oh yeah, from his paint scheme from when he won the Daytona 500.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Moving over to Cup Series, that was race number 12, and that was the Advent Health 400 Sunday, May 7th at Kansas Speedway. Denny Hamlin was our winner. Highest finish rookie was Noah Gragson, who can also take a punch.
He can take a punch. He couldn't give one out though. Unfortunately, he got stopped before he could.
Oh man, did he get stopped? Yeah, I think he went for that hook, and that security guard kind of blocked him, so he didn't
Yeah,
get anything off. But um, Denny Hamlin, I want to say we talked about him not too long ago. Maybe because it was the 75 greatest drivers, which he's been named one of the 75 greatest drivers. But his rookies are in 2005. There's press pass signings, press pass top prospects memorabilia with numbered out of 200 shoe. There's sheet metal and there's tire. And then in 2005 press pass Optima card number 34. There's the Beckett samples. Missed those Beckett samples. Gold at numbered out of 100 and eBay previews numbered to 5. In 2005 Press Pass Stealth, he's in the No Boundaries. I believe it's an insert set. And then 2005 Press Pass Trackside. That's the version that's there. Beckett samples. Golden numbered out of 100. eBay previews numbered to 5. Hot Pass, which is insert, and then Hot Pass, the national version. And then 2005 Wheels American Thunder, card number 89 with the Beckett samples, eBay previews, and the license to drive insert.
yeah, he's got a lot of cards, man. But this is
Not
one of
too
my
many.
favorite ones. Yeah, not compared to today, of course.
Well, I was going to say, you look at 2004 and Kyle Busch, and he's got a ton of stuff. And, Denny Hamlin doesn't have that much. But yeah, I mean, it is so awesome to see these cars like this. These guys are so young, looking cool there. You got the kind of the short hair and those glasses. So
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen him talk about. In fact, there's a picture I think of him when he was a little kid coming up to Joe Gibbs and telling Joe Gibbs that he was going to drive for him one day.
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
And
about that.
sure enough, there he is, and now he's one of the 75 greatest drivers.
Yeah, he's won a few races.
Yeah, he's done very well. The only thing that's missing from his resume is a championship. Maybe this year. Now I won't say he's locked in, but he has a win. I mean, if they have more than 16 winners, which I don't think it's going to be like that this year, like it was last year. I think he'll definitely be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think we're in that space where we were last year with all those winners. So
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think a lot of teams like Hendrick have figured out a few things on these cars, and are dominating, certain styles of racetrack, so to speak.
Yeah, they have so much more resources than some of those other companies or teams. So,
Yeah. So, what'd you think about the fight after the race?
well, let's talk about whole bowl cut here. So
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
let's talk about some of his cars. 2017 for him. He only has 7 signatures in 2017. There's 3 versions: unnumbered, numbered to 25, and the 101. There's 2017 Panini Absolute. That's his only base card in 2017. That's the one that's to the left with the different parallels and the 4 printing plates. No autographs in Absolute. 2017 Select. He only has signatures. That's to the right. And then also in 27 Panini Torque, he only has signatures. So the only base is really that 2017 Panini Absolute. That's there to the left, and there's the back, and then autographs in the other. So,
Yeah. Looking at those pictures of him then and looking at him now, he's gained a little bit of weight.
oh, he's probably been hanging out at Wendy's
Well, they'll do it. You got Wendy's, and you got the hamburgers, you got the Frosties, you got the fries. That'll put it on you real quick.
because I was gonna say, I was last year maybe it was that they had him doing the Frosties and stuff, and then he had that uniform last year that looked like a Wendy's uniform or whatever.
You
So it
look
was
like
really
a
cool.
clown almost. It's like a clown suit.
Well, and then I remember last year they were selling. I think it was Racing Warehouse had that piece of sheet metal from the side of the car.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. So, but to your thing, he went over to Ross and grabbed him, and they were yapping, and Ross I think told him to let go a few times, and so
Whammo.
yeah, Ross is in a spot where he has no friends. Right? He's he's trying to make a name for himself. He doesn't come from a whole long lineage of race car drivers. He's a watermelon. He's from water. His lineage is watermelon farmers,
Yeah.
right? And so you know he's kind of like old school NASCAR. These guys just trying to get into the sport. Don't have a lot of money. Don't have these massive sponsors. Don't have all this knowledge passed down through generations of drivers and stuff. So he's not going to take anything from anybody either. And not that Noah
No.
is from that, but uh, because Ross, the way he drives, very aggressive, and he's not making any friends. And like we said before, nobody's gonna say, well, yeah, after you, everybody's going for that win.
No.
So yeah, it rubs people the wrong way. I was just thinking, we're talking about Ross Chastain, where he cut off Chase Elliott last year in Phoenix, and Chase crashed out in that last race for the championship. So that pretty much ruined his chance for the championship in Phoenix. So, Ross is there for Ross.
Yeah, I don't have any. I mean, a lot of people have big problems with Ross. I have no problem with him at all. He's out there. It's like what you said. He's trying to prove himself. He's driving hard, and he's not going to take any crap off anybody. And I can appreciate that. So I have no problem with it. But that fight, that was. I wish they would have just let that fight go. I would love to see them just duke it out, man. Just somebody getting on the ground, somebody just waylaying the crap out of somebody, man.
I
But
saw a few of those comments going like, "Hey, let it be like hockey. Let them go at it, and then then break it up. Let them get their frustration out a little bit, and then."
mhm.
But Ross got the one punch in, and Noah couldn't do anything because that one bodyguard or whoever it was guy was there, and so when him being right-handed, that guy was right there, and that was like, no, we ain't having none of that, and shut it down real quick. So Ross got the lick in, and Noah did all the talking, and Ross did all the hitting.
Yeah, he let his fist do the talking for him.
I
But
wish I would have had a thought of it. I would have had queued up what Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to say about that. I don't know if you saw
I have
what
not.
his so he was mentioning basically not that he was calling him Dale Earnhardt, his father, the way he drove early on and way he really PO'd people off and stuff. he would make so many people mad. But I think he had that Dale Earnhardt Sr. that personality where people would forgive him, right? Right after the fight, it wouldn't be mad at him anymore. I don't know if Ross has got that part of it
I
down,
don't think he does yet.
but you know, he would go out there and try to win all the time, and he became the intimidator, and he wanted to win so bad he'd take you and him out, whatever. So next time you're like, well, maybe I'll just come in second instead of him taking me and him out or whatever. So if that makes any sense. So we'll see. Ross is trying to um try to win races and make a name for himself and try to take his popularity above the sport. And
Mhm.
that's where Earnhardt Jr. was talking about where his dad was able to elevate out of the sport, um, with shirts and hats and everything else, but people were wearing that, they knew who he was. So,
Yeah. So one comment about Noah Gragson's haircut.
oh, that for $100, because I
Yeah,
think that was a bet between him and Austin
yeah,
Dillon.
but yeah. That was something. And then Denny Hamlin moving Kyle Larson. I like that actually.
Yeah, again, these guys, they're wanting those wins. They're locked in. It allows you more opportunity. And when I was thinking about that, or when you were saying that, was Kyle Busch, because he had won previously. He was able to, because they were supposed to come in for gas, right? It was a Talladega or whatever it was. They were supposed to come in because they were on the borderline, and he's like, no, let's go for it because we got the win.
Hmm.
Let's take the gamble. Let's not play
Yeah.
conservative. So now that Denny's got this win, that, or whoever, it allows them to be more, um not as safe and a little risky or whatever to get for these
Take
wins.
chances and
Yes,
yeah, and roll the
educate or
dice a little bit.
good chances, right? So
Yeah. So I enjoyed the race. I thought it was a great race.
yeah, I'm looking forward to Darlington. It's gonna be like, we got the 3 races here, so
So so speaking of that, the next race is, did you?
next race is the Goodyear 400, Darlington Raceway, and that's gonna be Sunday, May 14th at 3 p.m. Stages are end of lap, or end of stage one, end of lap 90, 185, and 293. Moving
It's gonna be
over.
fun.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wish I was going this year, but me and you are gonna have to go next year and report back.
Agreed.
Let's see. Over at Formula One, they're racing in Miami, the 2023 Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. That was Sunday, May 7th at, oh, I forget what time. I don't have the time up here.
It was
And
like 2 or 3 o'clock or something like that.
yeah, something like that. Max Verstappen was our winner. Sergio
Go
Perez came in
figure.
second. Yeah,
He came from ninth, man. He drove through the field and took control of the race, man.
he was a little over 5 seconds faster than Sergio Perez, and everybody else was 26 or far on the back. So, yeah, I don't know. He's just on a tear.
Well, Red Bull as a team is definitely on a tear. They cannot be stopped, I don't think. And they're, like we said before, they're definitely in a league of their own.
Well, it's going to be really interesting when it comes down to being teammates, but that friction between winning the championship, because Sergio Perez is only 14 points behind Max Verstappen.
Well, that was kind of like the days of Senna and Prost. When they were teammates, there was a lot of friction between those guys too. I think they
And
drove for McLaren back then.
and that it was only race 5 of 23. So still got a lot of races left.
I think they're going to change the name of the series to the F1 Red Bull Series.
Yeah, they are putting on a clinic.
They are. That race was meh. The good thing about it was watching Max come up through the field. That was about the most entertaining part of it to me.
I watched some of that or speed watched that where Max was in the lead, then had to come in for tires, and then Sergio was in the lead, but Max was able to get it back pretty quick. So,
Hmm. Yeah, because he had the softer compound tires and was able to go a little bit faster and pass his teammate.
right, and we've talked about Max's cards quite a bit, so I won't go too crazy with them. And I have a feeling if you missed it, you can always check next week or the week after. We'll somewhere
Yeah, it's
we'll
kind
be.
of like this: blah 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 blah
I think
blah.
I might
Max
take your thing.
Verstappen, blah blah blah.
We might need to meet up like one day during the week, and we'll just record a video of Max Verstappen. I think that'd be a good use of our time.
I think it would be.
But Max Verstappen's cards, he has the tops trumps, which in 2016 there's two versions of that, and there's the two versions there on the screen that you can see the two different backs. Those are his first cards. They're not in official, but they're in that tops trumps. I don't know if there was a card game with out of the UK. There's also a 2018 version. I think that's the 2018. Yeah. And then we get to 2020, the tops releases 435 cards in 2020. We'll go with the tops now that was produced. There's 4,047 of those. I checked before we recorded. They're out on ComC for 8,025 non-graded. So that's right. I guess they were $9 when it came out. So um,
Hmm.
they've come down with only 4,000. I don't know, but and then more tops. We'll just go through these real quick. So the tops 2020 tops Chrome Formula One. There's about 13 cards and one image variation in the 2020 tops Chrome series. And then there are also parallels of those 13 cards and one image variation through all the versions of the parallels. There's also two inserts, 1954 World of Wheels and the track tags. And then also in the Sapphire version and all the parallels for that. Then you get to official stickers. There's 11 stickers in the 2020 Topps F1 sticker set. There's turbo attacks. There are 12 cards and 3 limited edition cards in the turbo attacks. And there's also Dynasty for the high end folks who like those. And there's patches and part of the fire suit, and then dual team relic autographs and triple relics. So that's the 2020 Max Verstappen.
Yeah, he has an official NASCAR radio buttload of cards.
Yes, he does. So they are the next race. They are off this week. They'll be back racing Sunday, May 21st at 9 a.m. Eastern. And that's going to be in Italy for the Autodromo Enzo Ferrari track.
Yeah, that's a big trip going from Europe but to Miami, then going back from Miami all the way back to Italy. My gosh almighty.
And guess what? I guess they get the week off. So,
Yeah, it's still a big trip.
yep. So that is it for the race recap.
It only took us a little over 30 minutes.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
here we go. Here we go again.
Well, we okay, we're not going to rehash it. All right. Anyway, so NASCAR's 75th greatest drivers, they've released the last name today with Jimmy Johnson. I think we did pretty good in our predictions. I think we have 80%,
Yeah, we had 20 of the 25.
and I would argue some of the. I think I can honestly say there's one we missed, and I think we both thought he was already on the list.
Yeah.
So that one we totally were blindsided. So I'll say that's the one we missed. The other ones, I would argue that at least three of them should be on the list. That they beat some of the credentials in my mind than some of than the ones they selected. But the three that we selected are no longer with us, unfortunately, and the other three are. So
Well, we've talked about it before, but in my opinion, I think NASCAR is wanting live warm bodies to sign autographs and to promote the 75 greatest drivers. That's why they completely omitted, some of these legendary drivers like, Jack Smith and Speedy Thompson and Jim Paschal and let's see who else, Fonnie Flock and Wendell Scott, which I think he definitely should have been in. I mean, if you're in the NASCAR Hall of Fame as a driver, I would think, yeah, you should be in the 75 greatest drivers of all time. But they
well,
apparently they didn't think so. The so-called blue ribbon panel.
I'll go with Jim Paschal, right? So I did a little research on him. He had 25 Cup wins. He's still 34th on the all-time list, and he hasn't been racing in a while. So his record has stood to at least number 34, right? So we've had the inclusion of all of these younger guys, um, Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson and Hamlin and Bush and Harvick and all these other guys that have come along and have passed him. Um, and he's still 34th. And we're talking about 75 greatest drivers. So, they just don't give out wins, cup wins. They're pretty hard to get. And they get 25 of them. And then he also was at the first NASCAR race in
Yep,
48. So,
49.
yeah. But I think they said, because I was looking at his NASCAR Hall of Fame induction kind of snippet, and that 23 of his wins had come on short tracks, and only two had come on the big tracks. But he was racing at a kind of a different time. But so I'd love to put Casey Kane's numbers against his, or Randy LaJoy's numbers against his. Not saying that Casey Kane and Randy LaJoy aren't good. Like I said, if we were doing a top 100, I think they fall in that. But I think
Mm-hmm.
top 75, that's kind of where unfortunately, you got to kind of draw the line. So I don't know how you can snub somebody like Jim Paschal with those numbers, because he was racing with Lee Petty and Fonnie
Richard
Flock
Petty.
and Richard Petty and um, Flock, the other Flock, the big Flock. I want to say Bob Flock, but it's not
You have Tim Flock,
Tim
Bob
Flock.
Flock,
Thank
and
you.
Fonnie Flock.
Yeah, yeah, all the Flocks. Um, Herb Thomas and all these guys, Firewall Roberts, and you know he got those wins. So anyway,
Yeah, and he also won the 64 and 1967 World 600, which of course now is the Coke 600.
right. So those were the two big ones. He big
Yeah.
tracks he'd won, and not the smaller tracks. But um, so Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth, and we had talked about. I think the 20 that we got were pretty much we all kind of agreed on. It was that five there. Larry Phillips, we missed. We totally missed him. I'll be totally honest. I thought he was already on the 50 greatest list, so we both missed him.
Yeah, we
But
did.
and then like Wendell Scott, yes, he doesn't have 25 wins. He has one wins. But you were saying that his top five, top tens. What were you
Y-
saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a quick rundown of like Sterling. We'll take Sterling Marlin for example versus Wendell Scott. Um, Wendell Scott had let's see, he had 20 top fives, and keep in mind he drove in 495 Cup races. He had 20 top fives and 147 top tens. And if you look at Sterling Marlin, he raced in 748 races and had 83. I think he had 83 top fives compared to, well, actually I was thinking wrong about this. 83 top fives compared to only 20 for Wendell Scott. But you have to look at some of the percentages. I mean,
Yeah, he raced in what 300 more races or whatever.
yeah. So, but Wendell Scott, you got to think what he went through. He went through, there it was hard times back then, and they were trying to keep him down. Not everybody, but I mean, there were certain factions that were trying to keep him down from winning, and he was running equipment. He was doing the best he could, and he was running equipment that wasn't, as up to par as all the top teams, and he still was coming out with all these great finishes. Like I said, he had 147 top tens versus 216 for Sterling Marlin in like 300 less races. So, I mean, he did great with I won't say inferior equipment, but it's lower tier equipment. And not only that, I mean, how like I said, how can you have somebody in the NASCAR Hall of Fame as a driver and not include them in the 75 greatest drivers? That just boggles my mind. It's just completely strange and weird to me.
Well, I read the book about his life, Wendell Scott, hard driving, and they mention that he would get used equipment, prior years chassis from so the Ford Wood Brothers and um, Home and Moody, and he could never get to be a Ford factory driver because there was a part in the book that talked about Ned Jarrett actually had approached Ford trying to get um, Wendell Scott as a factory driver, but so he always had I don't say inferior equipment, but older parts and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
so when I look at it, it's like he did all this with that and his skill. And there's parts in the books where they talk about where places he could go race, places he couldn't go race, places he would go, they would flag him during practice and make him come in and paint the car, or the car didn't look good or whatever, make him waste time instead of working on the setup of the car. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
how they some of these track owners or whatever would um you know put obstacles in his way.
Yeah, they did put a lot of obstacles in his way, and he overcame those. And he still had a great career. And I just keep thinking if he had the same equipment as everybody else, what he could have done. I think he would have been, you know, legendary. He's already a Hall of Famer, but I think he could have been a complete legend.
Yeah, if it would
Uh,
a different time they had the Iraq or whatever where they all had equal equipment,
mhm.
and see what he could do. Yeah.
But I just think it's a travesty that he didn't get in the top 75 drivers. That's the one that really sticks out to me. I'm very disappointed in the blue ribbon panel for that one. And again, going back to ones that they did put in, Casey Kane, you know, sorry, dude, you're not one of the top 75, greatest drivers of all time, in my opinion. He, Casey Kane, he had Well, he had 93 top fives and 176 top tens. But he only had 18 wins, and he only had like, let's see, I think he won. Well, he had the Brickyard. That was probably his biggest win, if I'm not mistaken. And I think he also won. Gosh, did he win some Coke 600s? Yeah, I think he did win a few Coke 600s. So I guess when you think about him and Jim Paschal are kind of close to each other, but I would definitely have picked Paschal over Casey Kane, which we did pick them. But talking about the list, I went back and I'm looking at our spreadsheet. We had alternates. We had Sterling Marlin, Sam Ard, and Casey Kane as alternates. They were
Yes.
close, but they just, for the way we did it, they just didn't make our list. So if you add those three in, I mean, that we were only really, two off. And Larry Phillips was a big mistake. We'll own that one. We messed up on that one. But the other ones, I just don't see, Randy LaJoy being in there. I mean, I like Randy LaJoy. He's a two-time Xfinity champion, but I just still don't think his numbers are enough to be one of the 75 greatest.
Yeah. Like I said, if we were doing the top 100 or top 80, then, those guys are right there. But they were, because they were kind of on our bubble, but using our spreadsheet and our formula there for our criteria, it was right there on our bubble. So
Yeah. And, just looking at like Fonny Flock, for example, Fonny Flock, he had the very first win for Chevrolet in 1955.
and
And
he raced, he raced pre NASCAR. So
yeah,
he's a fabulous driver. He was racing pre NASCAR and continue in NASCAR and still had the number of wins he did.
yep. So yeah, Fonny Flock was a great driver. Jack Smith. We haven't even talked about Jack Smith. Jack Smith, he had 21 wins, 95 top fives, and 142 top tens.
And I think he came in third in points 3 or 4 years in a row.
He came in. Yeah, no, I think you're thinking of somebody else. I think you may be thinking of Jim Paschal.
No, I don't think so, but because I double checked, it was like from 64 to 67 or something like that. He was third in points. I have to pull it up, but
Yeah, and I know Speedy Thompson was third in points for like in the 50s for like several years in a row as well. He's another one we really haven't talked about is Speedy Thompson. He
right.
didn't have that big win, but he still is a great driver. I mean, he had the wins, and I forget where he fell on the all time list. I think he was like 43rd or something like that on the all time list. But there again, he's 43rd in the all time list, and it didn't make the 75 top drivers. I mean, my mind is boggled on some of these and why they picked who they picked.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for, some of that to see what their criteria was.
Yeah, I would have too. I would, and I'm sure they weren't like the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I'm sure they weren't all in the same room talking about different drivers and different team owners and whatnot, and trying to spout all the virtues of these guys. I'm sure it was like Zoom calls or maybe mail-in votes or something like that. I'm sure it wasn't, hey, let's all hunker down in a room and pick 75 greatest drivers.
Right.
They probably didn't do it that way. I'd love to know how they did it. I really would. I'd like to know somebody on the panel. I wonder if like maybe Buzz McKim or somebody like that was on the panel. I would sure like to know at least one person. Maybe we could get them on the show and maybe talk about it and talk about the process, because I would really like to know. I really would.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up Speedy Thompson here. Yeah, so it's Speedy Thompson who I was thinking of, who had 20 wins, but he came in third in points 4 years in a row, 56, 57, 58, and 59. Uh, of those years, he had 8 wins in 56, 2 in 57, 4 in 58, no wins in 59, but um, got got those uh, third in championship points those 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's that's saying something. Those are the only years that he really raced the whole season. The other years he only did partials. In like 50, 51, just going, only a handful of races each year until 56. He did 42 of the 56. Uh, so, and then after 60, he only, raced a few races again. So he had that short stint. And when he raced, he was third in points all those years. So, and that's Speedy
Yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah, he was speedy.
He sure was. He sure was. So,
And he also raced in the NASCAR convertible series. I think he had like one race in there too, which I think that's a cool series, which everybody has totally forgotten about.
yeah, some of those are great different series, man.
They are. I mean, Fireball Roberts was in the convertible series. I mean, it's a cool little series. If you have a chance, uh, people go out there and Google the NASCAR convertible series and go out there and look and see some of the legendary drivers that actually drove in that series. And the cars are really cool too.
We
I
might
wish I,
need.
w-
Go
I
ahead.
wish they'd make more diecast of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say that 40 years of NASCAR, those books. We need to maybe do a segment on those.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So, not to go too deep into it now, but I guess it was in the early 90s. There was a 4 or 5 binder set of books that actually were newspaper clippings from all the races and the write-ups on those, and then they had other books for some of the different series. So
Hmm.
they're they're in the early price guides. If you look back in the 80s and 90s, or late 80s, early and 90, 91, they had those books for sale. So we might need to do like just a little revisit on those. So I know it's not cards, but it is some of the history. And then if
Yeah,
folks like want more history, I'm sure we could um, sprinkle some more in there.
yeah. And those books, those were done by Greg Fielding, and he there for the longest time he was the NASCAR statistician and historian. So he knows that guy knows a lot about NASCAR and the history of NASCAR. But anyway, but yeah, quick, we we were five short, but I stick by our list for the most part with the omission of Larry Phillips. But other than that, I stick by our list. I think our list was better than the blue ribbon panel.
Hey, I'll take those three. I'd love to do the debate of those three: Speedy Thompson, Jim Paschal, and Jack Smith.
Hmm.
I'll take any of them on about those three. So
Yeah. But like I said, we still had Sterling Marlin, Sam Ard, and Casey Kane in our alternates. So we were close on those, but we just didn't pull the trigger on them because we just felt that their stats just didn't make the cut.
right with the other. So we weren't looking. We should err it on the side of being able to show up Saturday, Sunday to sign autographs. Then
Yeah,
we would have went with him.
but the good thing about the top 75 driver list, Danica wasn't on it.
You can sleep good tonight.
I can sleep good tonight. Well, once we got down to the final five, there's five left. There were like five champions left, so we knew that Danica couldn't get in. So, so I was very happy about that. I would have called the whole list a sham if they had put her in there.
I can see you with a whole stack of papers just throw up in the air like I give up. I
Yeah,
quit.
I'm gonna go heck with it.
I quit. I
I
quit.
give
Yeah,
up.
exactly. So, all right, let's we'll put a bow on that here, and let's move over to Panini Flawless. So, um, Panini tweeted out a photo of Joey Logano, flawless card, out on Twitter. And I don't want to say it set Twitter on fire, but maybe a little smolder.
I think it set the NASCAR collecting world on fire. There's a lot of chatter on Twitter about it, and I know I was very excited to see something like that. So we reached out to Panini, didn't we, Val?
Yes, we did.
And Val has some news about that.
You're gonna I'm gonna let's see here. Let me share the screen here. So that's the image there. It's really cool.
It's
What
beautiful.
yeah, with the 75 with the diamond there. I mean, literally. So the diamond, but then the colored diamond, but
And
then the
gold,
diamond,
and I
diamond in
mean,
the center. Yeah.
oh god, I
Um,
love that card.
yeah. So we found out that it was just a mock-up. So
They're not
no,
doing it.
yeah, they're not doing it. So I think it was kind of a mock-up to show Joey. I don't know. Maybe Joey get behind it. I don't know, but um, so it would have been nice to have, treasure national treasures, or would maybe flawless would that would like replace national treasures one year or something. I don't. I'm not in the flawless price range in the other sports, so I don't even know where that
Yeah,
fits in, if that's a grade above national treasures or not. But
yeah, I don't know where the price point would even fall for NASCAR Flawless, but you know, I would have thought for sure when I saw this, I'm thinking, okay, it's the 75th anniversary. What better time to do this than now to do Flawless?
yeah,
I mean, seriously. And I thought it was going to be legit, but then once we talked to our connections at Panini, and we found out today, and it was like, wah wah wah.
but I did think when I did see this, or when yesterday or whatever it was, I was like, you remember the seven wonders of the world,
Yeah,
Earnhardt?
yeah,
They could have done something like that. Maybe bring back the Pinnacle brand and do a Seven Wonders. Do that with Jimmy Johnson.
yeah. Oh, they could. There's so much they could do with Flawless, and who knows? Maybe maybe it may happen still. I mean, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that something may happen, but I think it's probably already. I mean, it's just only May of 2023, but I think they would have had to you know mock this up and had all this planned well in advance, and I don't think they have.
No,
So,
we're so far behind on production. There's no way this is coming out this year. So
uh, but it would. Yeah, and I keep hoping that Panini is going to have something special for the 75th anniversary. If they don't have something special, they're really going to miss the boat because, this is only going to happen once. You might as well try to take advantage of it if you can.
I always say, not to beat on Panini, but Panini Instant, the throwback weekend, the Darlington weekend is the perfect time to do some of these Panini Instant cards, right? With the new paint schemes and of course the 75th anniversary. You could do so much, but I just think they're so preoccupied. I mean, they got so much going on. They're getting hit left and right, losing licenses for all these other sports, and
Losing
uh,
employees, it's just crazy times for them. I feel for them because they're really getting punched to the gut by fanatics for sure.
and unfortunately, hopefully, or the NASCAR product's not suffering. So,
Yeah, but I'm wondering, if something, God forbid that something happens to Panini, what happens to the NASCAR license? You know,
well, we know
so
Brian Gray ain't gonna pay anything for it. He was trying to have them give it to him last time.
yeah, I know it. Yeah, that's what he told us.
On Hobby Hotline, that's what he told us. Yeah,
Yeah, sure did.
and kind of when I was talking about production, the 2023 Donruss has slipped again, or slipped to June 2nd. Boxes are at 70-72 pre-sale. I'm hopefully they'll be at least out for the national. So much for like Chronicles being out at the national, but
Yeah, I'd like to. That'd be nice, but we'll see what happens. I was hoping Donruss. Usually Donruss has already been out for a while
yeah, it's
by now.
February. It's usually like a week or two before Daytona 500.
Yep.
So,
I mean, yeah,
but with the with the economy the way it is and prices coming down, uh, older wax is coming down. Actually, somebody tweeted me about they picked up I guess it was a half case of 2019 Victory Lane for $400 hobby. So it's
wow.
$50 a box. That's back to almost pre-pandemic days. So
Yep.
I think certified was at 79, and I saw 2018 Prism coming down to below 200. I think it was 180.
Wow.
The 2011 Element with the Chase Elliott hobbies were 75. And
That's that's so cheap when you think about it.
yeah, you definitely want to get a case of that so you have a good shot at getting those undiscovered Element autographs. And then what was the other one? There was something else. Oh, it was 2020 Chronicles was at 120 a box. Those have the Ty Gibb rookies in them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Yep, but I think that's all we have. So Panini Flawless, that was false alarm. Maybe this plants some seeds for future release. So
Well, let's all get together and do a hashtag. We want flawless NASCAR. Hashtag we want flawless NASCAR.
yeah, I don't know if I can afford that, but I want affordable flawless.
Yeah, we want affordable flawless NASCAR.
But it would be awesome to have those. Those are beautiful looking cards, especially if they're the gems in them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, that's not something new because that was done first by NASCAR with those gems in them. I don't know if it was
Back in the day.
Crown Jewels.
Well, there's a action pack card of Kyle Petty, which has a diamond for his earring. Way
Yep,
back, I think that was 93, 4. I can't remember what year that was. I feel bad for not remembering that. But I have that card, and it's a cool card. So, yeah. So NASCAR has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to memorabilia and autographs and everything. They've just always been ahead. They're the trendsetter, really, when you think about it.
they are. All
So,
right.
real quick, during the F1 race, or actually before the F1 race, Martin Brundle is doing his grid walk, right? And he's walking around. He finds celebrities, talks to them for a second, and moves on, kind of like what Michael Waltrip does. I think Michael Waltrip actually stole that from Martin Brundle. But anyway, they get up to this rope. He gets up to this rope and he sees Roger Federer on the other side of the rope. And he's like yelling, "Hey, Roger, come over here!" And he's just like freaking ignoring him and everything else. I don't know if he was ignoring him, he just couldn't hear him. I don't know what the deal was. Well, Jackie Stewart was like right next to Martin Brundle. And he goes, "Hey, Jackie, can you get in there and get Martin Brundle to come over and talk to us for a minute?" And Jackie's like, "Oh, hell yeah." So he goes under the rope, which he wasn't supposed to do because he was behind the rope too. He couldn't go in. He went in, and these security guards are like trying to back him off and push him back. And he's like straight on to Roger Federer. He finally gets up to him, grabs him, talks to him, brings him over, and he gets to talk on the grid walk with Martin Brundle. I thought that was so funny, and that was so cool of Jackie Stewart. I love Jackie Stewart. He's an international treasure for
Yeah,
sure.
I saw that part. I enjoyed that. He's like, because he was counting down. I was like, I only got 20 seconds left.
Yeah, that was funny. But they kept on doing it, even though they went to the other stuff, they kept his audio at least. So I thought that was neat. They did
Okay.
good. But I just want to mention that because I thought it was really neat, and collect Jackie Stewart cards because in the grand scheme of things, they're still kind of cheap. And he's a two-time F1 champion. So he's one of the greatest drivers in the world ever.
That is
He's in
correct.
his 80s. I think he's like 83, something like that. I'm not sure, but he's up there. But hashtag we love Jackie Stewart. Okay, so do we want to talk about anything else? I hate to even bring this up. We forgot about Topps F1 cards in Miami.
Okay.
They issued like a 10 card set. And I think this is going to be a continuation on to the other races. They had, I think, 7 drivers and 3 team principals in this set. And I think I've got the checklist real quick. At least I've got a picture of the cards. You've got Max Verstappen, George Russell, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Lando Calrissian Norris, Logan Sargent, I like him, Gunter Steiner, Franz French Toast, and Alessandro. I think his last name is I can't read Bravi. I think is his name. I'm really not familiar with him, but that was the 10 card set that they issued at the Miami Grand Prix. So there wasn't a big hoopla about this set. That was what was strange about it, is you really didn't hear much about it. In fact, I didn't even know about this till yesterday. That's how
which is
low
Wednesday.
key it's been.
Yeah, I was watching Twitter. They mentioned stuff about come by the Topps booth for some box breaks. I didn't see anything about some cards, but I think you showed me an image earlier in the week. But it makes sense. So if they do a 3-part where they do Miami, Coda, and Vegas, and you'll talk about 20 cards. So Max is in this one. I don't think I heard you say Hamilton. So
No,
Hamilton will probably be in the next one, or Leclerc, or
well, Charlotte Claire was in this one.
okay. So then it's going to be George Russell or somebody like that, or Sergio Perez or something. So they'll split it up between the three. So they have some big stars in each of them instead of just having like all the stars in this one and then
Yeah.
um,
Well, they had 7 in this one, 7 drivers. There's 20, so they'll probably have 7 in the next one and 6 in the last one, or whatever. They may reverse that, whatever. Then it looks like they're going to sprinkle in the team principals as well. So that's going to make it a 30 card set before it's all said and done. Which makes sense. Think about that, because you got 10 teams, 20 drivers, and 10 team principals. So the math works out perfectly.
using your head. I hear you.
Yeah.
Math
So
works out perfect. No dividing by zero.
yeah, not for. I'll do some Jethro Bodine ciphering. Not from naught equals naught.
Yep. All right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So throw that. Oh, yeah. Well, that's. I was gonna say about Tops Now, but it's gonna be too late for Tops Now.
yeah. So don't even worry about it. So with that, I'm thinking maybe time for some music.
Okay.
All right, cool. Okay, welcome to this week's edition of King's Court. I'm going to start out with an honorable mention. This was on the 7th of May. And I just like this card. It's a Kyle Busch 2021 Panini National Treasures Fire Suit Platinum Logo, 1 of 1. It's a book. And it went out for bidding. It went for $535 with 34 bids. I like this card because it's got the Skittles logo, and it also has the Toyota logo off of his uniform, which I thought was I just liked the card. I just thought it was just a neat card.
And now that you said that, it's not even autograph. You just have those 2 massive patches. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop staring at the rainbow.
Chase the rainbow.
Yeah. And was it 34 people did?
Yeah, 34 people were chasing the rainbow and ended up paying $535 for it.
But that's epic. That is.
It was just a beauty. I just loved it when I saw it. I said, I can't leave this out. And it wasn't the highest price 1 of 1. So I said, I'll just make it the honorable mention. So yeah, I like that card a lot.
Yeah, very cool.
All right. So next up is our Joker of the Week. This was on the 5th of May. It's a Ayrton Senna 1984 Panini F1 Scratch and Play rookie card. I don't think I've ever seen this card before, but I did see it in my searches. I just thought it was neat. It's a PSA 4, of course, and of course they tout it as a rookie, but you can say everything's a rookie. I mean, if you want, Jesus. But anyway, they were asking $499 for this card. They accepted a best offer of $235 for this card.
Okay.
So if you're an Ayrton Senna collector, that one's a toughie, because I haven't seen that card before, like I said. So I just thought it was neat. It's unusual. It's odd. And, it's older. It predates our 88 Max. It's 1984. So pretty neat card. I like it. And look at that card, how boxy it is.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it looks like one of those Boy Scouts or the Cub Scouts did with the
Yeah. Pinewood
dirt.
Derby card.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
It does. All
But
right.
with that scratch in play, I don't know if it's one of those scratch or rub-ons or whatever, but maybe that's
Well,
why we haven't seen it because they get damaged. Back in '84, no nobody was really collecting those. They were using them. It's one of those consumable cards.
notice that it's perforated on the bottom. So there was probably a scratch off thing on the other side of
Oh,
it.
okay. So yeah, so maybe it was a game card, and then
Yeah.
so maybe
That's
you're
what I'm
right there. But a lot of them probably went in the trash or in the drawer and
thinking. Yep.
gone. So all right, next.
All right. Next up, young driver, our Jack of the Week. This was also on the 5th of May. It's a 2022 Topps Dynasty F1 Lando Calrissian Norris. It's a patch auto. It's 1 of 10. So that's a palindrome number right there, 0110. But they're asking $700 for this card. Guess what? Somebody went click and they paid $700 for this card. So I like it. I like the patches in there. I think they're not the best patches in the world, but they're still kind of cool. I don't really know where they came from, but I just thought it was a neat card. And he is a young driver.
Yeah, so the only thing that sticks out at me is like I don't think the autograph should have been there. I think it should have been where his hands are across.
That's right, because you see how it's the color is faded.
Right, like that's where it's supposed to be, but he like saw that space there and did it. So anyway, that's just something that popped out of me. Again, the person buying this, you know, they don't care about that. So
No,
I was just making an observation. Sorry.
no. I'm with you. He should have signed it down there, but teach his own.
Yep.
It's like
Okay.
Grand Enfinger. You know.
Yep.
All right. So next up, our Queen of the Week. This again was on the 5th of May. It's a 1 of 1 Haley Deegan 2022 Prism Signatures Gold Vinyl 1 of 1. It's a PSA 9. And this card went out for bidding. It went for
Wow.
$495 with 20 bids. But it is a 1 of 1. And she's got the flowy hair. I guess somebody's probably got a leaf blower and her hair's blowing back. And, she's real cool in that picture. But it's not a bad card. I mean, it's still a sticker auto, though. That's the only thing that kills me about some of these.
Yeah, somebody's working on the rainbow.
Yeah. Yeah. They're buying Skittles and this.
Yep.
But it's a nice card. I like it. Like I said, and like you said, we've got Haley on hold right now. But hopefully, with the addition of Tony Breidinger in there here and there, maybe that'll spark her to do better. So, yeah, nice card.
Very nice.
All right, King of the Week. This was on the 8th of May. It's a PSA 10 2016 Prism checkered flag driver
Wow.
signature of Matt Kenseth, one of our 75 greatest drivers in NASCAR. It's a 1 of 1. We don't have Matt Kenseth on here very often, but they were asking $700 for this one, and $700 must be some kind of magic number or something because somebody went click and they bought it for $700. So that's a nice card, man. I like the way that card looks with the checkerboard and everything. It's pretty. Mm-hmm. I like the way that card looks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a nice card. Let alone the Gem 10, but the yellow there and the white background, the yellow and the name, and then that checkerboard. I'm always a sucker for checkerboard pattern.
I know you are. You want checkerboard boxes on National Treasures and everything.
Oh yeah, that hurt. Yeah, I was really wanting that. I thought for sure we'd get it, but oh,
Yeah, that's a beauty though, man. I like that card. And I
yep.
like Matt Kenseth. He's always been a nice guy. He's from Wisconsin. He's been pretty mild mannered. They changed NASCAR changed the point system because of Matt Kenseth.
Sure did.
They sure did. But yeah, great driver, great card, pretty cool.
2016 Prism.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
All right, so next up, our ace of the week, our 101. This is again on the 8th of May. It's George Russell's Speed Demon Superfractor 101 from 2022 Topps Chrome. It's a PSA 9. And they were asking this weird number of $6,363.
63.
But they settled on a best offer of $2,600 for this card.
Wow.
Yeah, $2,600 for a George Russell Speed Demons. He's not a speed lover; he's a speed demon.
He sure is. That's a
It's
2022.
It's a nice card.
Yeah, I think this one kind of shows the tilt here, shows the pattern, I think, better.
Yeah, it does. But
Yeah.
like I said, I like the card. I don't like it for $2,600. I don't think it's worth that, but still, it's a nice card, and it's only a PSA 9 though. Keep that in mind as well. But and you know that always begs the question of, you know, when you get these 101s, should I just get them as authentic or should I get them actually graded? You know, because you're always taking that chance.
Right.
So nice card though. I like it. It's pretty nice. All right. Last but not least, and I say that as I say it almost every week, our Royal Flush of the Week. This is on the 9th of May. It's a 2022 Topps Dynasty F1 Charles Leclerc Jumbo Relic Autograph 1 of 1. And this card went out for bidding, dude. And it went for $7,001 with 30 bids.
$40 for shipping.
Yeah. That always kills me. You just sold a card for $7,000, and if you made a lot of money on this because you know you didn't pay near that much if you got that straight out of the box, and you're going to charge somebody for shipping. But
Well, it's
that's
coming out
just,
of China, so.
Oh, yeah, well, okay. I apologize. It is coming out of China, so I guess it's a little bit more expensive, but still $40. I think the seller could afford it too.
Well, I think it's also with insurance. I'm sure that is just amazing.
That's a cool card right there. I love these. I love zipper artifacts in here. I just like them, you know, as memorabilia. I just think they're just cool.
Well, with that black and white and red.
Yep. It's pretty.
And then it's autographed, yeah, and it's is that a 101?
It's
Yeah, it's a
definitely it's a
101.
101.
I thought maybe it was 101 or 102. So yeah, I
Yeah.
was just mesmerized by the zipper. So
Zipper. Uh.
well, I mean, it's a large patch, right?
It is a large patch. That's a really cool card with the auto and everything, man. I'm digging that card.
It's like
Is it worth
Neapolitan
that?
ice cream.
Yeah, it is kind of reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream. Um, I mean, but is it worth $7,001? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, unless Charles Leclerc gets into a Red Bull car, I don't think he's going to be winning a whole lot of races here in the near future. Plus, Ferrari's just they're like up, down, wherever, you know, they're just kind of all over the place. But
Yes, they are.
But I do like this card. I know you like it because you're mesmerized by the zipper.
Yep, very cool. $7,000, man. Wow. Congrats to the seller. Congrats to the buyer.
Yep. Congrats to everybody. Nice card.
Yeah, that's a pretty card.
But that's it for this week's King's Court. There you go.
All right. Well, thank you. I guess that's all. I don't know if we have anything else you have thought of that we have not included in today's this week's show. So much for a short show.
Yeah, so much for a short show. They never go short. Um, hashtag skid marks, Ty freaking Gibbs, and hashtag slide fire.
Slap fire, yep. And then also congrats to Casey McMullen for winning the sneaky 5-pack yellow optic pulsar packs.
Yep.
So I'll be in touch. So, uh, for me, Logan, thanks again for watching. We appreciate that very much. Please, leave comments on YouTube or podcast, and I guess that's it. We will catch everybody next week. Have a safe week weekend, and we're out of here. If I can sit the outro. There we go. Bye.